Well, that was Open Ring 4.0, and that was my first experience with Ukrainian boxing. I tried to get matched. I registered and I put up the 500 hryvnia, but I couldn't get matched today. So got my money back and I watched and I enjoyed. And it's a really good scene here, you know, like in England. Good coaches, they were well matched, and I really enjoyed myself. Now I gotta go do my homework. So yeah, I don't make a lot of YouTube videos lately. Did a 2-week advanced trauma life support polygon training, and now I'm going in my 5th week of intensive Ukrainian school. So it's 3 hours a day. I wanted 4. I couldn't do 4. I honestly couldn't. And then the homework is probably about 3 hours a day minimum. And I just do that. I have no social life. I go to the gym and I study. SpongeBob SquarePants, Hoopka Bob, Odin plus Odin, Novine, the news, watch different series, work a lot. And I found a new love for the Ukraińskie poezie. My favorite, moje ulubione wiersz, Dumka. So this is Taras Shevchenko. This is the Kobzar is referred to as the Ukrainian Bible. And my personal favorite so far, Dumka. Nasho mene chore prove, nasho karaoke, nasho lite molody, velese devoce. Marno pro badayut, ochi plechayut, chorne prove, odver. You don't want to hear me do this, do you? But the Kobzar was an art form, a poet like a bard who would go all over the country, all over the land, and he would learn from another, like an apprenticeship, and he would carry the stories to the villages and the cities. Now, I do believe there was a complete period of freedom, at least in Ukraine, under Soviet rule before Holodomor. Some people can correct me, but 1930 to 1933. And there were community centers with the intelligentsia, the art people, hudожники, where they could meet, they could converse. And the most famous one, wait for it, in Kyiv was called the Slovo Budinok, the House of Words, the House of the Word. And NKVD would watch them for years, and then eventually they just came and they got them all. You know, there was a Kobzar festival around that time, and all the Kobzvari, Kobzverki, I'm not sure what they'd be called, Kobzverknik. These people who went, they were all taken and they were all executed. So this art form only really survived from people in the west of Ukraine who didn't come to the festival, and it was kept underground. You know, like there's the balalaika. Balalaika, I think it's called. It's a 3-string Russian guitar. Yeah, the Ukrainians have one that's 53 strings. The bandura. The bandura was outlawed as well. Bandurists, they were executed. So the art form, it's a sense of defiance. You know, I had a pomegranate coffee by a Ukrainian man in London when we did the Vogue photo shoot. Very nice man, very nice coffee. But I seen in a post recently, he was with somebody, you know, some sort of group. Is it even making coffee is a form of defiance against Russia? And I said, well, that's a bit of a stretch, you know. You're about 45 years old. You could be in the army, but you're defying Russia making coffee. That's a stretch. That's a whopper. But many art forms, it's a culture. They try to systematically erase Ukrainian culture. So I'm learning about a lot of that stuff. You know, it's I'm coming to appreciate it more for what it is. And, you know, every day I learn new things. So if you're European, you maybe know about the A, B, C, D level. I think there's even E level for some languages. Yeah, I'm on A1. And you know what? It's hard. Like I get to understand more. I get more context. I can hold on to people's sentences. I can pick apart things. But I just showing off here to show you that I'm not wasting my time. Мене звати Том. За фахом я юрист. Я працюю в компанії. Я працюю щодня. Лише в суботу і в неділю я відпочиваю вдома. Граю на стадіон у футбол або читаю цікаві статті в інтернет. Іноді я дивлюся фільм в кінотеатрі. Я люблю дивитися комедії і детективи. Я неодружений. Not married. Я також. Неодружений. Але в мене є гарна українська подруга. Я кохаю її. That means he loves her. Lublю, I like, кохаю. It's a very strong word. You can't just say, I кохаю donuts. Okay? So basically I think he's in the friend zone here, poor Tom. So I've got a lot of work to do here, but I'm trying. Yeah, I do it every day. It's coming together. It really, I see the problem with the Russian influence that people talked about. For example, a simple word, moloko, milk. And then somebody who comes from Russia, who's very well-meaning here, says, no, it's moloko. The O's are soft and not pronounced in Russian, and she's telling me about Ukrainian. But yeah, it's everywhere. But the language, I can really see it's a complex issue. Now, if you were to talk to my friends in 28th Brigade from Odessa, it's mostly Russian. There's a mix of surgic, many different words from both languages, but different surgics. Like some would, in Mykolaiv, I'm told they speak 60% Russian, 40% Ukrainian in the mix. In Mykolaiv city, it might be more Russian, but in the villages, it's this blend. Tilki, only. Tolki, tilko. They switch the word around. Yeah, there's many dialects. So it's very hard to learn Ukrainian because what is somebody going to speak to you? In the west of Ukraine, like in Lviv, they'll say funny words, really funny words that people in Kyiv who speak perfectly good Ukrainian, they'd have to be told what that word is from time to time. So we have a kniharnia, a bookstore. They've got a silly word for it in Lviv, and I didn't know what it was, but anyway, the language debate. This is going to go on and on for a long time. And a lot of people who push the language debate are people who, in my opinion, have less of a right to push anything. A lot of them are refugees and women in Poland or whatever. Not to say that women don't have a right, but you're not in Dnipro, you're not in Kharkiv, you're not in the army. That's a bold statement because you never know what anybody does. But nobody in the army ever makes an issue with the language, when you're working with people. But it's very, very important. I know a school teacher. She grew up in Holin region, and she got family in Ternopil, everywhere. But she left when she didn't grow up there. She left before she was 5. They went to Latvia. She had to speak Russian there. The teacher said she was retarded because she was speaking funny Russian. Then she went to America. But in America, I know other people who go to Ukrainian Orthodox Church, their kids, and they had to learn Ukrainian, like at Sunday school, but do it like twice a week. So there's places abroad where they keep the Ukrainian language alive. In Toronto, the largest Ukrainian library outside of Ukraine, at St. Volodymyr's. To hear these people talk with a Canadian accent at the Ukrainian Cultural Club in Ottawa was very funny. So I've seen all that. And I see the importance that they keep their language alive, because Irish, how many people can actually speak Irish, or the Gaeltacht? If anybody knows about that, anybody in the audience, the Crown, the British Empire tried to wipe that out. Welsh it's not a dead language. They have a revivalist movement. In Scotland, you'll find very few Gaelic speakers. Up in the far north of Scotland, they speak like a Norse, and these are dying or dead languages, but there's the BBC does have Gaelic programming. The state puts money into that, and people might say that's a waste of money, but until the last speaker, it's not dead. I don't know, and that's what Russia tried to do with Ukraine, wants to do, wants to Russify it with their 3-string guitar, because ours has 53. Yeah, I'm glad to talk about some of this stuff, I never fully appreciated it till I tried to go for it, to try to do it, and it's a long way off. But I get little rewards when I go do my homework at the Roma Cava. That's a kaviarna. So you got the kniharnia, the bookstore, you got the kaviarna, cafe, and they only speak Ukrainian to me, and they help me a lot. Побачимось завтра. We'll see you tomorrow. Що ти хочеш, Brandon? Flat white. З собою? Тут. Here. З собою with me. Собою. But I get little rewards and I have little conversations. I find it a little bit, I get embarrassed around my friends. Oh, he's studying Ukrainian, but they won't speak Ukrainian to me. Like in Sweden, it's like ned låtande. Wow, you speak good Swedish. Well, speak fucking Swedish to me. But the problem is I'm not at that level with Ukrainian. It's too fast. But I do enjoy listening to their conversations and just being present. That's it. I've got nothing fancy to show you. I go to school every day. I go to the gym. I put in about 6 hours to my schooling a day. I hit a wall where it's like, are you kidding yourself? But then I got over that wall really quickly, and I was like, oh, I can do this now. That's pretty cool. Try to read through all social media posts that are interesting to me on Instagram before I start translating anything. That helps. Yeah, I might get somewhere with this. So in regards to you guys, money. I spent 20,000 euros. I'll get the screenshots on Mavic components, Matrice components. We were not successful in getting the Autel drone components in time. That's okay. I suspect should have those in probably 3 weeks. But I sent that money last week. Okay, so that just takes time. We have purchased a 2017 78 series Land Cruiser. So that's the big white one. And it's actually an XUN one. Yeah. It's got about 70,000 kilometers on it. The purchase price was 26,000 euros. Plus the export plates, another 500. And I sent young Wes Miller, who's a fantastic young American boy. He came over here with a missionary program with his parents years ago. He speaks fairly decent Ukrainian, but he's a volunteer medic, and he left Pokrovsk to go to Belgium. I gave him $1,000 to cover the expenses to get it from Belgium via Budapest, and to come back. So hopefully by the end of the week I'll have that. That will go to Igor at Frame Garage, Frame Kazovac. You might remember Igor or Paulina from some of my videos before. Yeah, they've done really good in vehicle conversions to medical Kazovacs, Medevacs, and they know the person that this one is going to. They helped arrange all the paperwork for the Ukrainian Foundation, as did my friend Dima from the Netherlands, who helped arrange the purchase in Belgium for the Land Cruiser. All I did was just move the money. I just collected the money, like I did that silly run on my birthday, and you guys support that, but you'll see that soon. And it kind of had to be a Land Cruiser because what they specified, they needed high clearance, 4-wheel drive, and long. And what they said to me, could you get a Mitsubishi Delica? It's like a Japanese 4-wheel drive van that can. She wasn't expecting something as good as this Land Cruiser. Nobody would, but they're highly sought after. They're quality vehicles, absolutely quality. If I were to buy anything, I would buy a Land Cruiser, but the particular people who go, I know the state of their vehicles and their Kazovac, Medevac situation, and maybe we can get them more vehicles down the road. But I mean, this Land Cruiser, we won't be buying those every day. It's a lot of money. 6,000 euros. I have that money to give to Igor to do the conversion for drone jammer, for oxygen, for the full conversion. I think they do a light polymer armor as well. But to fully get that vehicle, you know, so it just took time. All these goals took time. There's no 50 eco flows to show, as impressive as that looks. Land Cruiser looks pretty impressive. Drone components, when they're laid out, because people know about that now, that's impressive. But on a personal level, these goals really suited me because I wanted to invest time into me, into education, into bettering myself, to make myself a better product for the work I must do in the near future. And I must tell you, it's been quite a challenge. You know, I don't have a social life here. I'm not a real social person. I haven't been for years, but I just keep to myself. I do my work. You know, I went to Swampy's funeral, spent some time with Harley, as you know, but you know, I'm not a famous person or anything like that, but you know, people walk up to me, like Sean Pinner and I never met before. You know, it was very nice of him, as busy as he was there, to come over and say hello, and sorry we had to meet under these circumstances. But you know, like random people will come up, and like I've been stopped on the street by some people, which is very nice, but it's like, I don't want to engage with you further. And it's not me being better or worse than you. It's just okay, you know, I'm Brandon, as seen on TV. Oh, you're so and so who does this, and la 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 la, and it's like, good for you, I'm happy. I really have to get to the gym now, and then watch my son SpongeBob SquarePants. You know, like, I don't want to know you. You know, so I keep to myself, and it's not to be rude. Like someone came up to Harley after the funeral. Oh, I seen Brandon again. He's cold. It's like, no, I don't want to know you. Do you know what I mean? Like, hi, yeah, it's really nice to meet you, but I don't want to go further. And that's kind of a good thing, you know. I'm setting boundaries because it's like, yeah, you only got so many hours in the day, so that's good. But I do spend some time with some people. You know, Saturday night, last night, it was the Shaheeds, because I heard the Dashaka, the machine gun, outside my house. But Friday night, yeah, it was Friday night, because last night was Saturday, it's Sunday today. I did not stay at home. I was staying elsewhere, and was it 14 ballistic missiles, and they only shot down 6. You know, I've never lived in Kyiv full time. The longest I've ever been here before was like 2 weeks, and I've been here now, got a lot of weeks, and that is the most ferocious attack I've ever experienced. And it was like, those ballistic missiles, you could hear it distorting the wind. Like, it was really something. And I was on the top floor with her, and you know, the windows were open, and because it's a hot night, and yeah, it was, I mean, I'm not going to run down to a cellar or anything, you know. It's a city of the better part of 8 million people. They've only got so many to go at night. If it's your time to go, it's your time to go. I understand if you have children and stuff like that, but it's yeah, it's a hell of a price to pay. So we're 20 minutes into this, and what I want to talk to you about, and I don't like to talk about things that are outside of my realm. I hope you'll appreciate that. And I've insinuated that there's a lot of bullshit on the internet about Ukraine that I objectively know is not true, by bloggers. And I don't mean, I think they might be misinformed. There might be like small little channels where people rant in front of the camera. I'm a bit conscious, try to not to do this, but there's things they say that I know objectively are not true. But I'm going to go out on the limb here and talk about something I know nothing about. These peace talks were a sham. It was an absolute fugazi. Total fugazi. Trump, what does Trump do? What side is Trump on? Trump's on Trump's side, I would assume. I don't know if that represents the people, but you know, when he says, oh, Russia never really wanted peace. Did you think they ever wanted peace? No. You know, I learned this in my still try to never forget it. You know, in your romantic life, like, don't listen to what a woman says, watch what she does. You know, that's Russia. in a nutshell. Watch what they do. They consistently do. They're building up more forces in Sumy right now, and elsewhere in Donbass. They are building up. They've increased their assaults all during this peacetime to put more pressure on the army. And you know this if you watch all the channels. The best one for the maps, whether you like them or not, is Willy. And they're quite accurate because the maps don't lie. Some people say maps don't matter. I beg to disagree. But it's a real simple thing they do in the macro. They just put as much pressure as they can at different points of the line. Like chess, to get Ukraine to move reserves out of an area. Like their intelligence is very good, so they would pick on weaker units, attack territorial units that are less equipped, less experienced, less motivated, to draw out a good reserve from somewhere else. You know, so that's what they do, and that's what they're doing now, again, as they've done many different times at different periods in the war. So that, you know, this whole peace thing, you know, and if you want Ukraine to succeed in whatever manner we're capable, you would do well to just take this peace idea out of your head. Anybody, you know, I'm not saying you, but a lot of fights are won and lost. So I just come from the boxing before ever the fight, and I'm just going to finish off the video. I'm going to steal a clip from somewhere and I'm going to leave it in there, but I'll tell you what happened. The first man to ever regain the heavyweight championship of the world was a man named Floyd Patterson, trained by the late great Customato. Floyd is one of my favorite boxers. People say, oh, you got knocked down more than anybody. I say, yeah, but I got up more than anybody, you know, and I relate a lot to Floyd. I've read his biography. I know a lot about him, a lot of self-doubt. I have a lot of self-doubt. I always have. Keeps me sharp. But Floyd, going into his first fight with Ingemar Johansson from Gothenburg in Sweden, there was a rumor in the fight camp that Ingo broke his right hand or injured his right hand, because you'd send spies into the other boxers' camps back in the days, in the 50s, 60s. Nowadays it's easier to find. But that rumor a week before the fight, that Ingo hurt his hand, and then he wasn't seen training with his right hand, just jabbing. And then in the fight, Ingemar Johansson was not a great boxer, by the way. Well, he was heavyweight champion of the world, but the first 2 rounds of that fight, he just threw jabs. He threw jabs. He lulled, like a lullaby, like a snake charmer. Floyd Patterson, a very intelligent man with an amazing ring IQ. He lulled him into a false sense of confidence. And when that right hand, Thor's hammer, as he called it, came out, fuck Floyd up. So that's what happens all the time. And I hate to pick on the fellas, but it's just an easy target, because like Ali reminded me recently, like NAFO is not any one person, but it's always from NAFO that I hear Slava Ukraine, Crimean Beach Party we had before. We had Ukraine is winning every day, Russia is so stupid, the toilet memes, you know. And the reality is Ukraine is a victim of its own propaganda. It is. The government pushed this out on an official level. People caught on to it. In the English-speaking world, it's kind of just formed into a meme culture. And, you know, if there was ever a time to really do something about it, it was 22. But Russia is strong. Russia is smart. Russia is calculated. Russia knows about the decline of our Western society. And they pick this time. Maybe they could have waited a few more years. It might have been, and be better prepared, more opportune. And we sleep. We sleep as societies. You know, we have arguments, we make issues in our parliaments about non-issues, where the minority, 10% of the population, would get 30% of the coverage or more. You know, there's a certain divide formed in our societies because we had nothing to unify us, and we still don't. There's no existential crisis for the Western nations yet. You know, would somebody be willing to work harder for their child, to sacrifice so their child could have a better life? Of course they would. But would people in the society be willing to sacrifice in the now for a better future? I don't think so. I really don't. And I think Russia knows this. What was that quote? How long are you willing to fight? We fought with Sweden for 21 years. Yeah, they'll do that. They will do that, and if there's a Putin gone, there will just be someone else. So let's not have a false sense of security that's really done us a great disservice. Let's keep doing the best we can, whatever. If you want to support whatever you want to support, if you support this country, because it is infinitely better than the Russian alternative, which could become a reality. But one thing that has to stop happening in Europe particularly, it's not realpolitik. It's this might versus right. Russia is might and Europe is right. Okay, so you're righteous, you have the high ground, but Russia doesn't care. What are you going to do with it? You know, like in the fights there today, it's like, you're going to have to swing back. Yeah, it's a 30-minute video, but that's what I've been up to. I work really hard, the longevity. I haven't done a lot of YouTube stuff lately. It's really, really taxing, you know, trying to better myself, trying to ascend to a higher level professionally. And I put a lot of time into this, and I know it's going to pay dividends. And if you're shareholders in my efforts, I think you're going to get a dividend. I believe you will. I really do. But I don't think about that. I don't think about the victory or the virtues of the state. We're playing Schindler here. That's all we're doing. We're saving Maxims and Vovas, and we're increasing the probability of them going home good people, you know, who would raise good children. And whatever the outcome, which is beyond our control, your control too, that whatever we end up with, that Ukraine, we're increasing the probability of good. That's all. I think that's reasonable. I think that's very, very reasonable. I don't want to promise you anything or tell you how good or great I am, because I'm not. But I do have a consistent track record with everything you've supported. So hopefully by the end of the week, I can actually be sitting in that Land Cruiser, which has to do its conversion, and we'll get those components out. I think the next thing we'll be doing after that, I have all the money. It's about another 6,000 euros for the conversion of the Land Cruiser. It'll be about 34 grand when it's all done. When everything's complete, I think the next thing we need to move on to is back to more power stations, more eco flows. So I'm just going to keep acquiring money by your grace, and I don't care how much or how little it is. It'll be what it'll be. Que sera, sera. And then we'll make the decision at the time after I've completed these goals. Yeah. People have asked for more of them, but I just didn't have them now, and people have asked for other things, and I've just said, nope, I can't help you right now. Sent some money for some Starlinks the other day, that's easy. Helping with hospitallers to rebuild the new base. Gonna set a goal for $12,000, 500,000 hryvnia, to a monobank jar. That's a Ukrainian way of collecting. 500,000. The total jar was 20 million hryvnia. They're at 11 million now. So I'm going to make one for 500,000 to go to the main one. You follow? But that's it. I'm just going to do that. I have a good chunk of money to put towards that right now. And we'll get that complete. And I think it's going to be EcoFlow time again. That's it. That's all I'm responsible for. Just to do that. Study. To get better. I'm getting real progress. But that's it. I went to the boxing today. I couldn't get matched, and you know, I've been pumping the guns lately. I've never really done much strength training my whole life, but it's good. It's good I didn't get matched in there. It would have been good actually. If it would have been better, but to see, I need the cardio, so I got to do some more cardio, because I had the best cardio and I had the best engine in the game, and there's probably 3 guys in there out of the 20 I knew. I says I can lick them now. You know. They were novices, of course they were, but you know, with good cardio, 50-50 with a third of them. But it was really great in there. It was great to see, and I got to go study.
Floyd Patterson defend his heavyweight title against Sweden's Ingemar Johansson. Rain that threatened the bout until minutes ago has failed to discourage hardy sportsmen like motion picture stars Bill Holden and John Wayne. An air of mystery has developed concerning Johansson's right hand. It's supposed to be his best weapon, but he has seldom used it in training. Will he throw it tonight? In these early moments, he's using a crisp left jab to keep Patterson at long range. A left hook to the jaw, and there's that wanted right to the head, and the champion is down. Patterson is up, but he's obviously dazed. He turns away from Johansson toward his corner. And there he goes again. We see the fury of Johansson as he senses victory.
So I guess Ingemar Johansson's right hand worked just fine. But we can all take a lesson from that. You know, if you are told something, you can hear something. If you hear something, you can repeat something. And if you repeat that thing, you can believe that. And if you can believe that, you can start to act as if. And the greatest trick the devil ever performed is to make the world think he did not exist. So the myth of the Russian army of 22, it's no longer relevant. It's no longer relevant. And Ukraine has surpassed the need for European polygons, training centers, for technical ability, for the weapon systems and the tactics. God help us, we're not very good at strategy, but how to implement those systems, we need that. But the problem is this Western arrogance, as I've said. And no, they would never risk a war with NATO. Unlikely, but not impossible. But those countries, as we don't need those training centers for our soldiers anymore, for warfare, basic warfare, or they're becoming less and less relevant, I should say. Those armies, if they ever had to fight, they would have to learn to fight. And some people might not be comfortable with that, especially Americans. Yes, you would have to learn. You would have to pay with 50,000 lives in the first month to 6 months to get that knowledge. And that's terrifying. That's terrifying. So, I'm not a pessimist. I'm certainly not an optimist. But I'm a realist. Yeah.